Have you ever found yourself caught in an argument that felt incredibly important, only to later wonder, wait, what were we even fighting about? There are moments when we pour our energy into defending what's right, what's ours, or what strokes our ego. And in doing so, we forget what really matters. Peace of mind, love, or a bigger purpose quietly waiting in the background. Life is full of seemingly small stories, but if you're willing to sit down, slowly sip a warm cup of tea, and reflect, hidden within them are profound lessons about how to live, how to perceive, and how to let go. Today I invite you to join me for one such story, simple but deeply illuminating. It's the tale of the donkey's shadow. A story that just might make you pause and realize, sometimes what you're fiercely trying to hold on to isn't even worth it. The story, the donkey's shadow. Once upon a time, there was a poor student who wanted to return home for summer break, but he didn't have enough money to rent a carriage, so he decided to rent a donkey from a farmer to ride back to his hometown. As they traveled under the scorching sun, the two stopped to rest. The student sat down in the donkey's shadow to escape the heat, but the donkey's owner quickly protested. "You rented the donkey, but you didn't rent its shadow. The shadow is mine." The student was surprised. "I rented the whole donkey. How can the shadow not be included?" The two began to argue. The disagreement grew louder and more heated, and while they were too busy shouting and pulling at each other, the donkey, untied and unattended, quietly walked away. In the end, neither of them had the donkey nor a place to sit in its shade. You see, the donkey, a symbol of the tool, the goal, or what truly matters, was completely forgotten. All because both people were fixated on the shadow, something trivial, meaningless, and not worth losing everything over. So, what lesson can we take from this? Let's step into the next part and explore some thought-provoking insights together. When ego gets too big, we lose what truly matters. The story of the donkey's shadow may seem simple at first, but if you look deeper, there's something truly worth reflecting on. Neither character was actually wrong. One person rented the donkey and believed they had full rights to use it. The other was the owner and believed he still had ownership over its shadow. They both had valid points, but they used their reasoning to feed their ego. Neither wanted to back down, neither wanted to yield. And in the heat of the argument, they fought so hard that the donkey walked away. The most important thing, the donkey, the very thing that could carry them where they needed to go, was lost. All because they were too caught up fighting over its shadow. If you've ever found yourself in a heated argument, take a moment to pause and ask yourself, what am I really trying to prove? Do I want to be right, or do I want to be at peace? What truly matters in this situation? In life, you'll encounter situations like this far more often than you might think. In families, couples may argue endlessly over trivial matters just to prove who's right, only to forget that the ultimate goal is shared happiness. At work, departments may clash over responsibilities and authority, overlooking that the organization's overall outcome should be the top priority. On social media, people might attack one another over differing opinions, yet in the end, no one truly wins, only division grows. So ask yourself, the last time you stubbornly defended your opinion, did you actually preserve what you truly cared about? Because often, we win the argument, but lose in the game of life. That's when the ego takes over, and we lose sight of what truly matters. But then, how do we avoid repeating the same mistake? How do we choose to hold on to what's truly important and not get swept away in meaningless arguments? Let's continue to the next part. Knowing when to step back to preserve what truly matters. Winning isn't always the real victory. Sometimes the wisest person is the one who knows when to stop. Both the man who rented the donkey and the owner were trying to prove they were right. But think about it. If just one of them had paused and taken a step back, would they still have had the donkey? In real life, it's the same. You might win an argument with a loved one, but the cost is a fractured relationship. You might prove yourself right at work, but at the expense of teamwork and mutual trust. You might stand your ground in a debate online, but end up exhausted from the backlash and negativity that follows. And in the end, what do you really gain? Taking a step back isn't weakness. It's the choice of someone with wisdom, someone who clearly understands what is truly worth holding on to. As the saying goes, If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. But to truly go together, sometimes it takes knowing when to yield, when to give up a shadow, in order to keep the donkey. Don't let appearances overshadow the essence. In the end, take another look. What caused both men in the story to lose the donkey? It wasn't a major crisis. It was an argument over a shadow, something intangible, weightless, and of no real value, yet it was enough to make them lose everything. In real life, these shadows can be reputation, pride, appearances, ego, or even the praise of others. But the donkey, that represents what truly matters: family bonds, inner peace, shared goals, or a personal life purpose you don't want to lose sight of. Don't trade what matters most for something that only seems important. We've seen this pattern play out many times in real life. A student becomes obsessed with grades, titles, and awards, forgetting the joy and true value of learning. A working professional focuses solely on titles, power, and status, forgetting the original purpose of choosing that career, the joy and meaning it once brought. Even in charity work, people may start arguing over who's the better person, who has done more good, and suddenly, the original spirit of kindness gets tainted by ego and competition. The story of the donkey's shadow may be short, but it carries a deep reminder. On this journey of life, are you holding on to the shadow, or are you protecting the donkey? Practical reflection. Name your donkey. To truly apply the insights we've explored together, take a few quiet minutes to complete this small but powerful exercise. Exercise. Name your donkey. Take out a piece of paper and write down 3 recent conflicts or arguments you've experienced with a loved one, a friend, a coworker, or even within yourself. For each situation, ask yourself, what was my original intention or goal? During the argument, what was I trying to hold on to? The shadow, ego, being right, or the donkey, the relationship, peace, shared goal? What is it that I truly didn't want to lose? Finally, write down this personal commitment. Next time, I will choose to protect what truly matters and not let the shadow lead me astray. This is more than just a reflection. It can become a powerful habit of mindfulness, helping you live with greater clarity and intention in a noisy, reactive world. You know, sometimes what exhausts us the most isn't the harshness of life, but the fact that we're holding on too tightly to shadows. The shadow of reputation, the shadow of pride, the shadow of being right. And in that struggle, we end up losing the donkey, the very thing we actually needed. So pause for a moment. Look at your life today. Ask yourself, am I clinging to a shadow or holding on to the donkey? Is what I'm fighting for truly worth it? And if I let go, just a little, could I find more peace? If this story spoke to you, share it with someone you love, so we can all learn to protect what truly matters and walk more lightly through the noise of life. Thank you for sitting with me today. I'll see you in the next tea session with another story, another lesson, and a fresh new perspective.